After one of the most intense tornado intercepts of my life, I began my journey south, dodging multiple tornado-producing storms at night. But the dangerous journey was worthwhile because the very next day was a level 5 out of 5 high risk, the highest classification from the Storm Prediction Center. Forecasters were expecting an outbreak of long-track, violent tornadoes. The setup was eerily similar to another historic day. April 27, 2011, and it was over the same exact part of the country. This day truly had the potential to produce the most dangerous storms on Earth. With only a few hours of sleep, I made my way to the center of the risk in Meridian, Mississippi, waiting as storms began to fire. Almost immediately after initiating, storms began to produce tornadoes in southern Mississippi. I was in the perfect spot, but as the storms tracked north towards me, they completely fell apart. All I saw was a soggy storm in the trees, not an outbreak of violent, long-track tornadoes. And you know what? That's a good thing. After that lackluster chase, I had a cool 19-hour drive back home to Denver. I was fed up with the long commute for every chase, so at the end of the month, I moved to Oklahoma. I've decided that 2025 is the year that I'm going to go all in on storm chasing, and Oklahoma puts me in a much more centralized spot in Tornado Alley. I can't make this up. The day I moved into my new apartment, a 10% chance for strong tornadoes set up right over my new home. It was destiny. I was going to see a tornado the day I moved to Oklahoma. But no, storms that day didn't fire in the right spot and never produced any tornadoes. While somewhat of a letdown, this was just the start of an extremely active stretch at the beginning of April. In a shocking turn of events, the next day, the SPC upgraded to a high risk. For the second time in 2 weeks, I was going to chase a high risk, and maybe this time I would live up to my YouTube channel name. I started the day out in Dyersburg, Tennessee because it was right next to a Mississippi River crossing, and right on cue, storms began to pop to my southwest, tracking right towards me. Soon after, the storm heading towards me was tornado warned. For a brief moment, it looked like I was about to see something crazy, but as the storm progressed north, it fell apart. However, there were still other storms to my east, pulling me further and further away from my original target. After a couple of hours fooling around with messy, non-tornadic storms in Tennessee, storms in Arkansas began to explode. Seeing these much better storms, I booked it back west in hopes to catch them as they traveled north. As I was repositioning west, one storm produced an extremely strong tornado near the town of Lake City, Arkansas.
Holy shit.
And I was late to the storm. For a second time this year, I folded on a high risk, and it stung even more knowing I was only a few minutes away from one of the craziest tornadoes to happen in a long time. A typical day as a storm chaser can be total chaos, but one thing that helps keep my life simple are my shoes, specifically my Vessi weekend sneakers. What sets Vessis apart is that they're 100% waterproof, so no matter how crazy the weather gets, my feet are always dry and my shoes stay fresh, unlike every other pair I've worn before. But it's not just about function, they look great too, which means I can wear them around town just as easily as I do out in the field. Since they handle any environment, I've stopped packing multiple pairs of shoes when I travel. Vessis really are the all-in-one solution, and honestly, I just don't want to wear ugly boots anymore. After months of use, they are still holding up incredibly well. The build quality is solid, and they're so comfortable I can wear them all day without thinking twice. If you're looking to simplify your life and upgrade your style, click the link in the description for 15% off your pair of Vessis today. After missing one of the most incredible tornadoes in years, I was pissed.
So annoying, dude. Fuck.
At least there was going to be more opportunities over the next couple days. I was not ready to give up. The next day was uneventful. But the day after that featured a large 15% chance for tornadoes over most of Arkansas. This had to be the day I ended my cold streak. I chased a storm and, well, it was lame. After 3 busted chases in a row in Arkansas, I couldn't take it anymore. So I started heading back home, skipping another 15% chance the next day. But I truly didn't care. I just wanted to sleep in my own bed. The next couple weeks were pretty quiet for storms, but on April 17th, a localized severe weather event was taking shape over eastern Nebraska and Iowa. Even though this was only a little 5%, this part of the country always gets it done. I think you know where I'm going with this. I started the day just west of Omaha, and by 5 p.m., storms had initiated to my west. There were 3 established supercells, and I was in the perfect position to intercept any one of them. So what should I have done? Should I have gone with the storm out in front to the north? I could also chase the tail end Charlie to the south, or maybe cut the difference and chase the closest storm in the middle. I chose the northern storm because it put me out in front, allowing me to keep the southern storms in play. I caught up with the supercell in Fremont, where it was a giant dusty boy, which is not what I want to see in a tornado-producing storm, but it was still early in the day. At least I was in front of an actual photogenic storm.
We're in a dang dust storm with giant hail. So this is a little bit sketchy, I'm not gonna lie. A little bit sketchy. It's okay, we like sketchy. Sketchy's fun.
After absolutely clobbering Fremont with giant hail, the storm continued moving east, and I kept with it, riding along with the storm like a surfer riding a wave. As I drove east, the storm began to look way more interesting. It was now much lower to the ground, and it took on a classic horseshoe shape, with an RFD clear slot punching around the backside of the storm. My spidey senses were tingling, so I took the next exit to get a better view of what was happening. Minutes later, a funnel formed right behind me.
Funnel cloud. Let's see if we can get a good view of this. It's in there. Oh yeah. Oh, we got a tornado. Look at that. Gorgeous tornado. Oh my God. That is a beaut. Oh, that's gorgeous. It's kind of coming right here. We got to be careful. Coming right here.
From where I stopped, the tornado wasn't moving left or right on the horizon, which meant that the tornado was moving right towards me.
It's coming. I'm shaking. I'm shaking. It's coming right here, guys. I'm shaking. This thing is pretty dang strong, I'll tell you that.
And I was correct. Right at this moment, the tornado impacted a home, completely destroying it.
All right. Nice tornado. Oh, this is a really nice one.
Soon after, the tornado turned away from me, so I was no longer in danger.
Wow, not bad, huh? Can maybe get a close intercept here if this thing keeps going.
I wanted to get that close shot of the tornado, and the only way that was going to happen would be if I repositioned north, meeting the tornado when it crossed the road.
Woo-wee, we might get some big hail. We might get some big hail. That's all right. Woo-wee. It's in there. Can't see it.
Because of the sunset colors, I lost all contrast on the tornado, and even though I couldn't see the tornado, it was still going strong. At the same time, my friend Will, who you may know as Tornado TRX, was recording the backlit tornado from the other side of the river.
Oh my gosh, it's just going back down, dude. Oh my gosh.
And while Will captured the tornado's last moments, I was crossing the river to keep up with the storm. Now in Iowa, the storm was beginning to look a little too elevated. However, the storm to my south was looking juicy, so I began driving south towards it. As I approached the storm from the north, the storm began to produce a massive hook, as well as a tornado. I totally would have driven right towards it, but between me and the tornado was giant hail. So instead of core punching, I repositioned to the east, out in front of the storm. Alright, we got the storm right in front of us. Right in front of us. During the brief flashes of lightning, I would get glimpses of the storm's structure. The incredible structure was much more visible in the time lapse.
Holy crap. I'll turn on a light so you could see my face. What the heck just happened?
Despite being a measly 5%, April 17th ended up being way better than any of the much higher end tornado days, including 2 high risks. The Bennington tornado was rated EF3, and this tornado also marks the start of what is on track to be, by far, my most insane tornado season.